Hello everyone, EB the Original Master here, and in this video, I'll be taking a look at two VeggieTales episodes, Lyle the Kindly Viking and Sumo of the Opera, and comparing the two to see which episode is better. So it's going to be the basic things of the episode, the story, the animation, the settings, and the songs. So without further ado, let us begin. So let's start off with Lyle the Kindly Viking. So in Lyle the Kindly Viking, Archibald takes the stage on the countertop where he basically wants to host a show. So Bob the Tomato shares his show with Archibald, where he then reads the story of Omelette, which is supposed to be a Shakespearean parody of Hamlet. The Omelette segment in Lyle the Kindly Viking was highly entertaining, and it did have some of its great moments. Then we got the silly songs with Larry, which is Larry's High Silk Hat, which is basically in the tune of Funinkali Falunkala. And the song alone was actually really funny and entertaining to see everyone annoying Larry while he is trying to wait for the trolley, and his hat ends up getting squashed by a gourd. So that was a very funny, silly song. And then now moving on to the Lyle segment, where in this story, Lyle is played by Junior Asparagus, who's basically this different Viking who likes to share with others, and the other Vikings doesn't seem to appreciate that. So when Olaf catches Lyle giving things to the monks, he then ends up taking his oars away from his ship so he can go out to sea overboard. So a storm hits, which was the highlight in Lyle the Kindly Viking, and so the monks have to rescue Lyle and his Viking friends, and they all lived happily ever after, where the Vikings decides to share with the monks, and they all become very happy. Now the animation. So the animation in Lyle the Kindly Viking was very, very great. It was animated in Maya, which is the animation software that Big Idea used for the 2000s episodes of VeggieTales and the 2010s. And the settings and the visuals for this episode was very great, and I do love the animation here. And the songs are just okay in my opinion. I think the songs are way too childish. It's because it's about sharing and whatnot. But I think my favorite song overall in Lyle the Kindly Viking has got to be "What's Up with Lyle," sung by Olaf. It was a very nice jazzy like song, and it was basically my favorite song in the entire episode. So that's Lyle the Kindly Viking in a nutshell. Now let's move on to Sumo of the Opera. So in Sumo of the Opera, Larry is gone to a toy drive where Bob the Tomato and Khalil the Caterpillar, who's playing a puppet character named Luffy, are taking over on the countertop. So Larry then gives up on the toy drive, and then so Bob tells Larry that he needs perseverance, meaning he doesn't give up, so he could continue supporting the toy drive with the children. And then we get our first segment of Sumo of the Opera, which is Going Up, which is supposed to be a Three Stooges parody, and it's a silent film where Larry, Mr. Lunt, and Jerry Gord must move a piano up a flight of stairs. And this segment alone wasn't anything special, in my opinion, is because that I just found the Going Up segment to be just okay, because it wasn't anything groundbreaking. It did have some of his moments, such as the French peas, telling the viewers that the piano must go up, and that's about it. Now, afterwards, we then got the Silly Songs segment, which is Schoolhouse Polka, which is basically Larry singing about homophones, which are basically words that are spelt differently, but they have the same sound, such as blue, and plane, such as the airplane, and plane basically means nothing on a food item, such as a burger, biscuits, whatever. And I actually found Schoolhouse Polka to be a really entertaining, silly song about English language arts or the English subject matter. So after Schoolhouse Polka with Larry, then we got the St. Patrick's Day segment where Luffy tells the story of St. Patrick, which is a very nice segment because I actually do love this segment because we got to learn about who was St. Patrick and why St. Patrick's Day became a thing. And I actually do love the colors that they use. They use like a blue color for I think for France, they use like a green color for Ireland, and they use a red and blue color for the United Kingdom or England. And yeah, that was actually a really good segment. And then we finally get to the main meat and potatoes of Sumo of the Opera, which is Sumo of the Opera, which is a very entertaining segment. I cannot believe how amazing Sumo of the Opera was. So in this segment, Larry the Cucumber plays as a character known as the Italian Scallion, who must defeat Apollo Gourd, which is the gourd on the VHS cover of Sumo of the Opera, which is kind of nice looking. And he's basically doing this so he could win this tiger bike that everyone's going for, so he could fix Junior Asparagus' bicycle. Yes, I know Junior Asparagus has a name in this segment, but I'm not gonna go back and look it up. I'm just gonna call him Junior because that's who he is originally as. And yeah, so the songs in Sumo of the Opera, the actual segment, are very, very good. These are 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 levels of songs because we have these Japanese wrestlers who sings these songs throughout the episode, and they have very good vocals. The vocalists of the Japanese sumo singers are very great. We got songs such as He's Accepted the Challenge, A Joking Sumo, A Sumo Can't Go Wrong, and The Feeling of Finish, which are very, very great songs in Sumo of the Opera, and they all get a 9 or a 10 out of 10 rating because of how great they are. And so, of course, the Italian Scallion beats Apollo Gourd. He fixes Junior Asparagus' bike, and they all live happily ever after. Animation, very great animation, I have to say. Since this is a perseverance episode and it's supposed to have like violence, I guess, because you got the Italian Scallion defeating Apollo, I'm assuming. You get very great animation segments, and I do prefer this animation over Lyle's at any day of how epic it is. And yeah, so that's basically all I have to say for both Lyle and Sumo of the Opera. So my final rating for these two episodes, Sumo is the better episode. Has better songs, better animation, in my opinion, and just a better overall story than Lyle, because that's just how I see it as. So I hope you guys enjoy this little comparison video of mine of me comparing Lyle and Sumo. What are your favorites of these two episodes? If you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time with more videos on this channel. See you later.